Find someone. All right. So now we're going to move on to movement opportunities. But before we do that, because we've been sitting for an hour, let's all stand up for a second. I'm not going to make you do jumping jacks or anything. I promise. So just roll our shoulders back. And take your right hand, touch your left shoulder, and then switch sides. So what we're doing right now is we're utilizing both hemispheres of our brain because we're going across the midline of our body. So lift your foot and do the same thing. Opposite, whoops, a little hard in heels. So this actually increases creativity and collaboration when you're using both hemispheres of your brain. Okay, you can sit down. Yes?
It's a very interesting thing you did because around a week, 10 days ago, I started the practice of walking for 5-10 minutes towards the afternoon. And it changed a lot because I used to feel hungry and energy level was down. And this actually, what you did now is like walking, and it helps a lot to not to want to eat sugary thing, and you feel more energetic. Just take 5 to 10 minutes walk, quick walk.
You perfectly set up what I'm going to talk about.
Oh.
Yes, no, that's perfect. So you said in the last 10 days you started this? You started walking in the afternoon, 5 to 10 minutes, and it decreased your sugar cravings?
Yes.
Yeah, and made you less hungry. Yeah, great. So this is not normal, right? This is not normal. It's also not normal for us to sit for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. So we get up in the morning, we sit in our car to drive to work, then we sit at work, and then we sit in our car to drive home, then we sit in front of the TV or in front of the computer, or we sit at a restaurant, and then we lay flat. If we were supposed to be sitting all day, then our bodies would just be shaped like this, right? There is something called glute amnesia, and it is a real thing. So our glute muscles, our butt, is supposed to be the most powerful muscle in our body. The strongest muscle is our jaw. The most powerful is supposed to be our glutes. But what happens after about 45 to 50 minutes of sitting, chronically, is that the glute muscles start to forget how to contract or fire. And what happens over time is that we have to start using accessory muscles to do what the glutes do, which means that to raise from a seated position, to lift our leg, to go upstairs, we start using our lower back, our quadriceps, our hip flexors, all the way even down to our ankle. And this leads to back pain, neck pain, knee pain. And you may think, I have a bad back, or I have bad knees. But what you really have is a weak butt. So we don't want to sit for so long. Do you use the term professional sitter here? Okay, so in the US we call it professional sitter. People who sit for 6 hours or more a day. Because this glute amnesia, it still can occur even if you exercise. So the run that you do in the morning or the horseback riding that you do in the evening, it doesn't counteract sitting for so long throughout the day. And professional sitting or chronic sitting can lead to many, many ailments. It increases the risk for type 2 diabetes, increases the risk for some cancer, strong correlation with depression, decreases creativity and cognitive skills, increases risk for some cancers, and can also lead to constipation, chronic constipation, which nobody wants. So how many of you, be honest, love to exercise? Good. How many of you like to exercise? How many of you don't like to exercise, but you just do it because you're supposed to? And I would say the rest of you just don't exercise at all. I am not going to tell you to exercise because I want you to reframe and think of it as a movement opportunity. Because exercise implies something, right? It implies that maybe we go to a gym or we go somewhere to do it. We change our clothes. We get sweaty. Those things are exercise, right? Movement opportunities require none of those things. So what I qualify as a movement opportunity is something where you find a trigger, something you do consistently every day, like brush your teeth, I hope, or take a shower, I hope. Do that every day. And you even do it when you travel. So you find a trigger, and then you create a behavior before or after that trigger, whether it's a number of seconds, number of minutes, number of reps. And then that is your movement opportunity. So I had a trigger, my litter box trigger. This is my cat Pele. And I always wanted to do pull-ups, but I was not good at them. So I decided I was going to move my pull-up bar into the litter box closet. And every time Pele went, I did pull-ups. I only was able to do 3 pull-ups in the beginning. And within 4 months, I was able to do 15 dead hang pull-ups. And I beat a group of guys in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina, doing pull-ups off a light post. I never did them during a workout. I never got sweaty. I only practiced them when I had to scoop his litter box. He died 2 years ago, and I did not want to lose my trigger. So I moved all my clothes into that closet, and when I'd get up in the morning, when I'd get ready for bed at night, and then especially on laundry day, when I was in and out of the closet about 4 or 5 times, I did pull-ups. That is my trigger. About 1/3 of my fitness, I would say, is from movement opportunities. Things that I do throughout the day that I never break a sweat for, and I never change my clothes. Some good triggers. Coffee. So if you drink it, it's typically a habit, right? So, yes?
Sorry to interfere. Are you talking about the problem sitting in the office all the time? Sitting in the computer most of the day? We just recently ordered most of the office standing tables. Yeah. What do you think of working all day in standing? Is this as well? Is it better, or you have to balance it?
So I believe in sitting and standing throughout the day. So I actually do work off of a standing desk, and this is in a couple of slides, but since you brought it up, we'll go ahead and go there. I've had a standing desk for about 10 years, and when I Google, like, you couldn't even Google standing desk when I bought mine. I had to buy a medical cart, and that's what I use. So I'm used to standing all day, but then I sit when I eat, and I leave my computer when I eat, and then sometimes when I'm reading, then I'll also sit. But it is better to sit and stand throughout the day than just sit, or for some people even just stand. So I have taken a tour of your office, and Pradeep actually sent me some photos, and I saw the standing desks, and I think that's a great idea, or great for you to have the options. And I'm going to talk about standing meetings in just a minute. So thanks for bringing that up. So coffee is a great trigger, coffee or tea, because you do it or you drink it every day. So doing something right before or right after getting that coffee. Brushing your teeth, again, you do it every day, hopefully twice a day or more. Doing, push-ups along your counter, along your sink counter before or after you do them, or squats while you brush your teeth. I have one client that she did a wall sit. So I can't do it, but if you have your back against the wall at a 90-degree angle and you're just brushing your teeth, so when she started, I could see people were trying to see. So you're just like this with your back against the wall, and she's brushing her teeth. When she started, she could only do about 10 seconds. It is hard. And if within about 2 months, she was able to do a 2-minute wall sit. I challenge you all to do a 2-minute wall sit. It's very, very challenging. It's the only thing that she changed. So her legs got massively strong by just brushing her teeth. Yes?
We tried, coming up with habits, but the problem is not deciding on the habit. So otherwise you forget. And then after a while you remember that you decided on this and you actually started again. Mm-hmm. So how do you make sure that you don't forget?
Yes. So how do you remember that you even set a trigger is the question. I like sticky notes. I will use the sticky notes until I remember. And one of those sticky notes that I used was in my car. So there is so sticky note or a timer or something like that you can. I have one of my clients has a sticky note on her coffee maker at home. Like I said, I put mine in my car when I was doing an exercise in my car. So we are getting, as a society, something called text neck, T-E-X-T-N-E-C-K, text neck. And what's happening is, because we're looking at small devices and our arms are closed in, we're getting this forward head-leaning posture where we're having a curvature of the neck, and kids are already getting this. So they're seeing that there is a difference in the spinal cord in children as young as 7 years old in the U.S. Do kids here have devices too, like they do? Yeah, okay. Yeah, everybody has them, yes, too. So we're getting what's called text neck. And what happens is, so these muscles are getting weak because they're leaning forward. And it leads to headaches, neck, shoulder, and back pain all the way down to the hips. Because, the spine runs all the way down. So what you can do when you're in the car, not while you're driving, but at a stoplight, I'm not going to be responsible for any accidents, is you're holding onto the steering wheel and you keep your chin level and you push your head back into the headrest and relax. Press back and relax. And you could do that for about 30 seconds or for a count of 10 and relax, and it strengthens your neck muscles. And you don't have to do it for very long to feel it, because their neck muscles are so small, you'll be able to make a difference pretty quickly. And I had a client, Stephen, who started this, and he used to get a lot of headaches. And he feels that after about 3 months, that his decreased by about a third, his headaches. And this was the only thing that he changed. Did you have a question in the very back? Did you have oh, yes. Oh, you were stretching. Good for you. He's like, that's a good thing. I need to stretch here. Good. Okay. So all of those things can be triggers. Yes.
I would like to share a habit that works really well for me.
Okay, can we get a mic?
So one thing I do is every time I am on the phone, I just walk. And at least we are on phone at least 2 hours a day almost. So I'm just walking all the time.
So you pace and walk when you're on the phone.
Yes.
I do too. Very good.
That has worked really well for me.
Good. Yes.
Can you repeat the neck exercise?
Yes. So to repeat the neck exercise. So when you're at a stoplight You're holding on to the steering wheel. You want to keep your chin level, and you just press your head back into the headrest for maybe a count of 10 and relax, and then press back again and relax, or hold for maybe 30 seconds and relax. But you want to make sure you keep your chin level to do that. If you're at a very long stoplight and your neck starts to get tired, you can start doing isometric contractions where you're pressing in on the steering wheel. Okay. Something else that keeps you from doing is looking at your phone while you're at the stoplight. But as far as triggers, so yours is walking when you're on the phone. I have, one of my friends has a trigger that if he curses, that he has to do 10 jumping jacks because he wants to try to break that habit. Another one, if she uses a microwave, she does push-ups. If you take medication, that is a really good trigger because you take it every day, right? Or if you take vitamins, something like that. So it's something that you're going to take every day. So again, it's putting a sticker on your bottle until you remember to do it. Or if it's something that's electronic, maybe. So there are a lot of things like, so I also coach and speak on productivity, email, task, and time management, and outsourcing. And so for, I use a lot of different programs like Freedom and Focus Booster and countdown timers. And so those countdown timers, when it goes off, it'll trigger me to do something. So now we'll talk about, actually, let's go back. So thinking about different things that could be your trigger. Starting out with something, this is something I do consistently every day. What could that trigger be? And what will you do before or after that? Some kind of movement. Or during, such as the case with brushing your teeth or talking on the phone. Transitioning to or from work is also a good trigger. And this is one I want you to share with someone in here as well that will hold you accountable. That can be your human sticky note. Anyone want to share what they think their trigger might be? Yes. You start because has people started new things because of the Dubai 30-day challenge?
Yes.
Yeah, good. What was yours that you started?
I'm willing to regain back my shape. I used to be an obese, so
Okay.
I lost 50 kilos, and I gained weight again. So I decided to do what I did before. I have my car keys with my housemate, so when I wake up, I'm not allowed. She's not going to give me the car keys unless I go on my crosswalker for 1 minute sprint. So I do 1 minute sprint before I leave the house.
I love that.
So unless I do this 1 minute, she gets the car keys. Otherwise, I cannot go out.
That is one of the best triggers I have ever heard. So you gave up your car keys until you get your 1 minute sprint in. And that is perfect because the idea is that it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be an exercise session. But does that 1 minute that you do in the morning, does it set you up for the day?
The thing, when I was obese, I used to do that. And I have actually a watch that measures my calorie and calorie burn.
Mm-hmm.
So my heart rate average is around 90 to 105. So I used to burn in 9 hours around 3,800 calories. So I even have that on watch. So I usually measure my calorie burn. So
Mm-hmm.
it actually worked out for me.
I love that. I love the car key. I'm gonna use that for some of my clients. I love the car key thing. Do people here wear Fitbits? Or watches, like tracker watches? Yeah, okay. Everybody has a Fitbit at home. Anybody else want to share a trigger? Yes?
For me, feeling tired, to make a move or stiff in a part of my body or something, while sitting at the office. So that somehow motivates me to go for a 5 minutes walk or something.
5-minute walk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw your square, your outdoor area. It's beautiful. It's nice. Okay. So good trigger. What's that? Yes, I did hear that. Yes. There's always a caveat. Yep. Another trigger? Yes.
My trigger is whenever I want to talk to a colleague of mine within the floor or within the building, I end up at their desks instead of picking up the phone or sending them an email.
Good. I like that. So instead of sending an email or picking up the phone, you're going to walk to your colleague. So there's a company in California that for 2 years, these guys worked on a project together, these two gentlemen. And they implemented a new policy called No Email Fridays. And they were not allowed to send emails on Fridays. They had to pick up the phone. And so they learned, and they had offices all over the country, they learned that after working together for 2 years, that they were in the same building. They had no idea. They thought they were in 2 completely different offices. And they were just, I think, 2 floors from each other. So then they started actually walking to meet each other. Oops, sorry. One more trigger. Yes?
When I arrive in the office, walking up the stairs.
Walking up the stairs?
Yeah, when I arrive to the office, walking up the stairs.
When you
yeah.
get to the office, okay. And how many flights of stairs?
It's 4 floors plus 2 basements, so 6 floors.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So when you get to the, and that's a trigger for a lot of people is using the stairs. So I had Pradeep email me some photos, and one of the things I asked him was, do people use the stairs or the elevators? And are the stairs scary and uninviting? Because a lot of times, the stairs are not made, they're made for emergencies and not a place where people feel like they want to go up and down. And so after I sent the email, I wondered, I knew about the very tall buildings here, and I thought, I should have clarified that question, because of course nobody's going to walk up and down 40 flights of stairs every time they get to and from work every day, but 6 flights is great. Yes, I like it. And I like that you were specific and you said when you get to work, because if you would have said every single time I go up or leave, right, exactly, you probably wouldn't do it. But you can start with just in the morning, that's your trigger. I love it. Okay, so going to the standing desk. Oh, and he's gone. Must have stepped out. So I do believe in sit-stand desks, and I know that you're getting more of those. So this one, that I actually travel with that one, and I was going to bring it with me, but I did not have room in my bag. I mean, it is in my hotel room, but it folds down, and it weighs 1.8 pounds and lies completely flat. So I take it in my briefcase with me. And so I travel with that everywhere. And anytime I pull it out in a coffee shop, at the airport, wherever I am, I almost can't get any work done. Because people keep saying, what is that? Oh my gosh, where is it? But that's called a stand. And I'm going to email everybody that's here today, probably today. And you'll get a resource guide with everything that I talk about, and with a link, and sometimes discounts too. And not this company, because they're not sure if they can ship here, but another company that has portable standing desks, they're going to be in there, and they're giving a discount code. But it's just one that you can pick up and take anywhere in your office. Yes?
Isn't this bad for your neck as well?
Okay, good question. So he's asking, is this bad for your neck? So I don't work off this all day long, because you're right, that ergonomically, it's not great ergonomics in the same way that working off of your lap isn't. Putting your laptop on your lap is not good ergonomically either. But if the choice is me sitting and working like this, or having to work like this, or standing and working that way, then I'm always going to choose to stand. Yep. But at home, I'm at a more ergonomic environment. So the next thing that I want to talk about is walking meetings. So this is my client Lisa, and this is her direct report. And this was the first time that they did a walking meeting. Walking meetings increase creativity and collaboration when done with 4 or less people. So let's say in the nicer months here, it would be good to walk around your square or walk outside even, or actually you could walk in the air-conditioned, what's your tunnel? What are your tunnels called? Metro. Oh, okay, is it Metro? So maybe even walk through there. But it increases creativity and collaboration. But something even more important is that it decreases real or perceived hierarchy from sitting across the table. And the reason why this was important is because since this was her direct report, this was her employee, she wanted to make him feel comfortable with the situation they were having. When you're walking side by side, instead of sitting across the table, there is less of an intimidation factor. So I guess that's also good to know in case you want to be intimidating. You don't want to walk side by side with someone, but walking side by side decreases that level of perceived hierarchy. But you can also do it on the phone as well. And I do a lot. I would say I probably do about 1/3 of my meetings on the phone. Walking. That's what I meant. While I'm walking outside. So the rules for walking meetings are ask the person first, well in advance. You do not want them showing up in heels or a 3-piece suit and expect them to want to go outside or to do a walk. You also want to consider the weather. Now, normally I have a slide with a bunch of 3 feet of snow or 3 meters of snow on it. That would not be appropriate here. So asking about the weather or thinking about the weather. Know where you're going. It should be a safe place, or you should know the route. And here, you could walk around the square and the metro, but this would be more, if you were going somewhere, doing business travel, maybe you're not in a space where you know. Like this is a trail by my house that I always take people on. It takes me 45 minutes and we walk through and we're out in nature and it's wonderful. But I always ask them first. And then the last rule is that it is not a race. So remember, it is a movement opportunity. We are not exercising. You should not be breaking a sweat. That's called sweat working. That's something different. My mother was a mail carrier growing up, so she delivered the mail by foot, and the faster she could do it, the faster she was done for the day. Like she could go home. So she walked very, very fast. So I grew up walking very, very fast because we had to keep up with her. That was just our normal pace. We didn't eat vegetables, but we walked really fast. And so my normal pace is very fast. And I have to continually remind myself to slow down. And I will check in with the person as well. And I will try to go by their pace. So if you are a fit person or you are a fast walker, always let the other person lead and make sure that you check in with them. But walking meetings are becoming very, very popular. Is anyone here, besides walking on the phone, does anyone here ever do them? 3 of you? Good. When do you choose to do them?
No, I actually have a comment about this.
Oh.
You have to be, I think one more rule is important is what type of meeting it is.
Oh, yes.
I tried this and it required some action and I had one of my guys who usually get things done, and I took him for a meeting with me for a walk, and then he didn't get a few things done because he's good at note-taking. In
right.
the office, he takes notes. So when he was walking, he didn't have the opportunity to take notes.
Yes.
So I think there are other considerations as well.
There are. You're absolutely right. So sometimes we need to have a computer in front of us. We need to have a screen, we're showing something, or to be able to take notes. So there are a couple things that I do. I actually take a small notepad, and if I have to stop and jot something down, I do. I'll also record into my phone. I'll voice memo into the phone, and I'll do that as well. And I've even just recorded the entire meeting. And I'll wear an external mic or headset, and I'll record it as well. But I agree. So it's not going to be for every meeting. And, you know, if it's just more of a,
An update thing?
yeah, or like a one-to-one, we're just kind of sharing information. Mm-hmm. Who else, you said you did the walking meetings. When do you choose to do them? One-to-ones? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, good. Got it. Okay. So these are my 3 favorite apps for movement opportunities. The first one is called Coach.me, and I'm going to send you all the links to this is going to be in the resource handout. So Coach.me has everything you can imagine on. I don't even know how many hundreds of habits they have, but they even have a 1 push-up a day challenge, where you just do 1 push-up a day. I have a challenge called 10 by 10, which is 10 minutes of exercise or movement by 10 a.m. every morning. But you can start with anything for that app. There's the 7-minute workout, which is another favorite of mine, and then the Sworkit app is you can set a time, anything from 5 to 60 minutes, and you can choose between all those 4 that you see: strength, cardio, yoga, stretching, but basically sweaty versus non-sweaty exercises. So if it's the middle of the day, or you just got home, you don't want to get sweaty, you don't want to change your clothes, but you want to move, you can choose the stretching or the yoga. And sometimes the stretching is just, and it's all body weight too, but you can even choose to do ones, all that you do, all of them that you're standing and not laying on the floor, or something like that. So I really like that one as well. So I want you to think about what your trigger and opportunity is, and what your 30-day commitment is, and then I would like for someone to share that with me. And of course, you'll share it with somebody in the room that will hold you accountable. Your human sticky. Who wants to give me their 30-day commitment? Yes.
Well, I like the idea Baba is doing, which is talking to the person in the same office rather than talking over phone. So that's what I will be doing for the coming 30 days.
Okay, so the next 30 days, you're going to walk to talk to someone instead of sending an
using the
email or chatting. Good. Yes.
I'm going to do what Gary does. I work with him in the office, and I just never do doing the staircase every day. So I'm going to do the staircase every day.
I like it. Staircase every day. Very good. Yes.
Every day evening I sit with my kid for homework. So I think at that time I can do squats.
Yes, perfect. Because every night you sit with your child to do homework so you can do a set of squats. I love it. One more. Yes.
I'll move the printer to the corner of the hall.
You're going to use a different printer?
So look, I've got my private one, so I will just move that to the other side of the room.
I like it. You're going to move the printer to the other side of the room. because it helps with glute amnesia. Anytime we are getting up, even if you are sitting and you just stand up 5 times every hour in your chair, that still helps. I didn't make up that word. It's actually a real thing. Glute amnesia. It's a phenomenon. Yes?
I'm going to keep a pair of tennis shoes in my office, and every 1 hour, take 5 minutes break, go walk downstairs or use the machines.
Okay. Every hour, 5 minutes. Yes, break. And you're going to walk. That actually increases productivity as well and creativity. So when we were doing this, cross hemispheres, how many of you have heard of the term type A, type B personalities? Yeah. Okay. So type A, type awesome. So type A tends to be a little bit more high-strung or thought of as very rigid or analytical. Not necessarily. But we have very different things, like we think in type B, must be artsy, must be more relaxed. It's actually, it's not really type A, type B. It's really more the connectivity of the neurons between the hemispheres. Okay? So anytime that we are crossing the midline of our body, or we are moving both sides of our body, it increases creativity and decision making. So because we're connecting the neurons on both sides of our brain. That's why if you exercise, that's when you can come up with great ideas or solve a problem. So I always get the best ideas when I'm exercising. That's why I love Siri. Because I can say, hey Siri, record this. And then I will say whatever I'm doing, and I'll be out on my bike, and I'll be talking. People will be riding past me, and be like, what is she talking? What is she doing? But I record stuff while I'm exercising all the time. But it's because we're using both hemispheres of our brain.